It's going to be Flash versus Stork on Circuit Breaker. Let's see if Song Byung-gu can come back, or Flash is just going to obliterate him like he did all the rest of his opponents today. So down here in the bottom left, in this beautiful blue color, that is going to be Stork, Song Byung-gu, my favorite player of all time. And up here in the top left is our purple Terran player. That is going to be Flash. Lee Young-ho. So this is a little bit of a disadvantageous position for our Protoss player. It's not as bad as Fighting Spirit, where we talked about close positions can be really difficult to deal with early suffocation pushes from the Terran player. But it can still be quite difficult just because the naturals are very close together on this map. It's a little bit bigger, but the naturals still are very close together. So there is a possibility for Flash to go for some sort of early push to close out the game. But he may just decide to go for a longer, more macro-centered build. We'll see how that works out. Actually, you know what? We have some downtime now, so let's go ahead and talk about drop-based play and how important it is for the game. Because kind of one of the things that we always have to keep in mind whenever we talk about strategical play is you always have to think about how you can gain the most value out of the least amount of units. And that's something that goes far beyond the idea of cost efficiency, far beyond the idea of even control, and comes down to the idea of just pure positioning. For instance, like when we talk about like Mutalisk Micro, for instance, Mutalisks are very cost-efficient units. They're probably the most cost-efficient units in the game. But why is that? Why are they so good? The answer is because they can do lots of different things in terms of you have lots of control that you can do on them that makes them very cost-efficient, like Mutalisk stacking. And they're also just very good at sniping units one at a time. That's just one of their specialties. They're very fast, quick units. They can fly in, snipe one unit, and run away before you can get serious damage on them. But the most important thing, I think the thing that people overlook a lot, is that they can really abuse positioning. They can use high ground areas to snipe people and use that high ground miss percentage, things like that. They can use ramps and chokes and things like that to reduce the amount of incoming damage that's coming out. They can move around to the side of, for instance, like a marine train. They can move around to the side of it instead of perpendicular to it. They come to a point at the bottom and they can pick off units that way. That's one of those things that is very important with positioning, and that's the same thing that we see in drop-based play. It's not even just the fact that you're good at dropship play or you're not. It's how you use the dropships to maneuver around the map. For instance, if you're going for an early frontal push, you can do a drop in the back, and that pulls units to the back, more units than you would normally need for those particular units. And then you can just abuse that by pushing into the front and bring your dropship back. Or at the same time, you can push in the front and use your dropship in the back to do serious damage. It's one of those things that we think about in terms of cost efficiency of units, and drops are one of those things that with good positioning will give you better cost efficiency on whatever units are loaded inside of it, because it takes more to respond to it than it does to actually build those units and actually use them to attack. So getting back to this game, we are not going to be having any dropship play. Instead, it's just going to be a pretty standard opening from both players. We saw Flash actually go for a more gas-oriented build this game to start things out, but this is not unusual by any means. He's just going to be getting up a fast tank, probably, to start pushing out and take his expansion down here. Meanwhile, looks like Stork is just going for the standard build that he's been doing several times over and over and over. A one-gate expansion, very greedy, and then scouting out with this probe quite late. So This is what Stork has done pretty consistently. It's what he feels pretty comfortable doing. I wouldn't recommend it as a ladder build, but it is definitely something that works well for Stork. So Dragoons are going to come up here, see no bunker. They're probably going to be like, looks like he went for something either gas-related, like a gas-related expansion, or he went for something... Wait, why is that siege tank damage? Did Flash accidentally attack his siege tank? So here are the units right now. Stork is going to try to maybe do a little bit of damage to this tank, but not going to happen. He doesn't quite have Singularity Charge done yet, so he's just going to be moving back for now. And now we're going to see if Stork's build is good enough to actually deal with this. He's got the 4 Dragoons now, and with the range, he should be able to actually snipe off a couple of these tanks, or at least do some serious damage to them. This was a big commitment to actually killing off those tanks, but he does manage to actually snipe them off pretty nicely, and this one Vulture might be able to do a little bit of damage, going very aggressive on these mines, even laying it down on the ramp. But he's going to be able to kill off one. Stork knows that that other Dragoon is 100% dead no matter what he does, so he's actually just going to sacrifice that for the greater good. This other mine not going to be able to actually straight up win the game, so it's going to be okay. But another one of these Vultures getting on top of the production line. They're going to be able to start putting down tons of mines right on top of that. Any units that pop out are going to take lots of damage. Stork managing to clean up the pressure in the front, but he's going to lose his first Dragoon that pops out of there. It's really unfortunate, and this has been a very successful pressure from Flash, getting a ton of probe kills with the small number of Vultures. Really well played by Flash overall, and this is definitely going to put Stork at a bit of a deficit going into the next couple of minutes. Oh my gosh, that's so unfortunate. Normally it takes 2 mine hits to actually kill a Dragoon, but that one was a little bit low on shields, ended up dying to that first mine hit. That's so painful. Oh gosh, even if it had survived with just like one health, it would have been fine, but because it actually died, that's so painful. So painful for Stork. So looks like Flash is actually going to be adding on tons of factories. This is what you expect to see if you're going for that early suffocation push. I think Flash, knowing that he got up a lot of damage early on, is going to be going for that, but Stork going to be taking a hidden base to try to catch up. This is a smart way to get back into the game, but at the same time, I'm not sure if it's going to be enough, because Flash is really gearing up for a big attack. He's going to be going up to 5 factories pretty soon, and that's going to be a lot of pressure coming down on Stork soon. He's going to have to invest a lot into gateways. He can't be greedy with his tech in the next couple minutes, or else he'll just outright die to a suffocation push. The barracks is going to go scout now. Now that there's enough tanks, it feels a little bit safe to actually go scout out with that barracks, and Stork surprisingly just going to transfer units straight across the map, doesn't even care that there might be something in the way, or maybe just has really good scouting with this observer, one of the two. But you see, he's going to be adding a lot of gateways. He needs these gateways right now, even actually pulling off of gas, because he doesn't really need that extra gas right now. He just needs a lot of minerals so he can start building a shuttle, he can get his zealot count up, and actually be able to do with this. How is Stork compared to earlier skills? Compared to his prime, Stork is about, I would say, 50% or lower right now. He's not quite shown the tactical brilliance that he used to. His mechanics aren't quite on point, but Flash is so strong right now, and Flash is going to be moving out across the map with a couple SCVs. This one Reaver is going to be able to delay for a little bit, but needs to make sure not to take too much free damage from those tanks. Gets a nice 2 shots off, might be able to snipe 2 of these tanks, but he's going to lose a couple of Dragoons in the process. This is, oh, that's so painful. Oh, he needs to not lose this Reaver. This Reaver micro has to be perfect. But so far, doing a pretty good job of holding this off. He's got to be very, very careful with this. This is so difficult to hold off right now. Maybe dropping a couple of Zealots right now on top of those tanks would be good, but he delayed quite a bit, and that ended up coming in quite a bit, and Flash has just crushed through. I think this might just be GG. Now getting all these Vultures into the natural, they're going to be able to start laying down mines, and the Reaver does manage to get a pretty nice shot. Is the Scarab going to go off? No, it does. That is awful for him right now. And the Reaver only has 1 health left, so it can't even be dropped right now without being killed. There it goes down. Flash has just absolutely crushed in here. Beautiful timing from him, and Stork just not good enough micro coming out from that Reaver early on, losing too much health, and he's just going to die off. More and more of these vultures flooding through. It's 5 vultures at a time flooding in from Flash's base, so he's going to be able to just completely crush this horse. The gateways were a little bit too late. They weren't enough to actually kill everything off, and Stork, unfortunately, is going to be falling 2-0 in this series, most likely. Did he actually manage to clean up the natural? Maybe he did, but, I mean, he's lost so much in the process. Nope, there's still more tanks over here. They're going to be unsieged, going to be killing off more units, and the mining for Stork is in really bad shape. He's going to be tapping out very soon. He still has that 1 Reaver, but dropping the Reaver at the front, again, not a very good job with that. You really want to drop the Reaver in the back as much as possible, even if you're just targeting down these vultures. He is eventually maybe going to be able to hold this off, but not very good micro. Well, okay, I take that back. He did actually manage to snipe off that 1 spider mine, but it's just been so much damage. Maybe he's thinking that he still has a chance with that hidden third base, but Flash is not going to stop. He's just going to continue to flood in these vultures and continue to put down mines, and with this much stuff, like even the best vulture micro in the world is going to be difficult to actually hold this off. And oh my gosh, Flash just pushing through. He's just got 2 tanks now, but I mean, 2 tanks in your main. There's the GG. Flash, absolute monster